First, we want a reference image to copy from. It's pretty straightforward, but it's still worth making a note of the structure. We've got a pivot point above the base, an extendable arm, and a camera mounted directly below the end of the arm. So in Notch, I'm going to make 4 nulls and rename them. We're going to name them base, pivot, extend, and camera. I've then added some shapes to set up to render lines only, just to give us a bit more idea what's going on. So we want to raise the pivot, move the extend null across, and then drop the camera null down. After that, we're going to extract the pitch value from the pivot null and feed it into the pitch value of the extend null. We're going to make sure that the extract node is set to subtract. And what this will do is counteract the angle for the camera null so that it always stays below the arm. Now create a camera and add another null to use as a target. It's worth noting at this point, if you don't want to use a target null, but you do want to use this crane setup, you'll want to extract the world X, Y, and Z positions from the camera null so that the camera node rotations are independent of your crane rig. Although this isn't very intuitive, which is why I set up a little MIDI control rig to make it a lot quicker and a lot more fun to use. So we're starting with a MIDI modifier. I'm going to map it to a rotary controller. You can use a fader if you want, but I think it works best this way. And then we're going to create 2 range remaps. And we're going to map and use this to split the rotary controller into 2 different directions. We'll start by setting the in upper to 0.48 and then the in lower to 0.52 on the next null. This creates a little gap which mitigates any drifting when you're playing around with the controls. So after that, we just want to set up the speeds for our range remap. So we go back to the first one and change the out lower value to 30 and the out upper value to 0. And on the following node, we want to change the upper value to -30. Now we just need to add an accumulator, and we will pipe both remaps into the value input of the accumulator, leave all of the settings at default, and connect the accumulator to the base rotation heading. From here, if we want to adjust the speed, the quickest way to do that is to change the scale parameter in the accumulator node, so you don't have to change 2 values every time. Simply leaving it on running can be a good way to just check what your speed is like. I like to reuse this approach for the pitch and extend controls of the crane. However, it does come with the caveat that you may send the camera too far up or down or too far out. Just reset the playhead if you get lost. Use this control rig to experiment with different camera shots quickly, then disconnect the modifiers and keyframe your crane motion once you've found the shot you're looking for. Here's a super quick draft I did for a car advert. It's not for Aldi, I just used a basic model. But this took me 5 minutes to get the camera angles right, and then another 5 minutes to keyframe them once I was happy.